listening to Mogul Talk with Mara. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Mogul Talk with Mara, where we dive into the brains and stories of moguls in order to craft our own journey to success. Today, I'm here with the one, the only DC Rock.
What's up?
I'm so freaking excited. I remember where we met, but I don't remember how long ago it was. All I remember is that when I seen you and I saw your style and we just started chopping it up, I'm like, this man is dope. We met at one of the pop-ups.
Yeah, we met at shout out to Jules and them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the casting pop-up.
Yes, and and just a great event, lots of networking. But walking away from that day, though, I was so tapped into your brand and Trap Successful. We ended up doing another photo shoot, kind of collaboration thing, and I was rocking the sweater, and I'm like, yo, I feel like I'm about to get up and go get it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So before we jump into everything, I did want to start us off with a quote, like I always do. So today's quote is, there are two kinds of people: those who do the work and those who take credit for the work. The rest of the quote says, try to be in the first group because there's less competition there. I'm gonna let it simmer. Ooh, you feel me? I feel so often, and sometimes I have this problem too, but I'm really learning how to just kind of shut up and do the work. You know what I'm saying? I feel in a lot of areas and spaces, I'm really good for that. But I feel I'm being put into an arena now where I'm kind of being tested, right? I'm kind of being tested on my ability, right, to perform and to succeed and all these different things. So I feel I'm looking sometimes for that validation almost. You're doing a good job. I see the work you're doing and blah, blah, blah. But what I'm learning more and more is it don't matter who's validating what I'm doing as long as I'm doing the work.
Right, yeah.
That's true. So, yeah.
But I think everybody wants some type of validation sometimes.
Absolutely.
From people, whether it's our family or friend or some type of just confirmation that you're doing something good or doing something right. So I don't think it's a bad thing to want validation though.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing to want validation. But I do believe you can't, just you can't wait. You know what I'm saying?
No waiting. Yeah.
No waiting. You can't wait on nobody to tell you you're doing a good job for you to keep doing what you're doing. Right? So with that being said, let's launch into it. Let's launch into the things. Today I wanted to talk with DC Rock about, the hustler's mindset, a mogul mindset. A little bit about innovation in the industry, which is really what I think a mogul does, is they innovate within their industry. Mm-hmm. And then I also wanted to kind of talk about, marketing, marketing tactics and, some tried and true, formulas that you kind of had. I mean, your brand is wildly successful. You have Streetwear Fashion Week. You have Trap Successful. Tell us a little bit more about Streetwear Fashion Week, because it's coming up. It's going to be August 31st through September 4th, right?
Correct. Okay. First, I want to say thank you for having me on the show, Mogul Talk. I'm a fan.
Oh, thank you.
Your last episode, I was real tuned in. So yeah, but thank you for having me first off. But Streetwear Fashion Week, it actually started last year, 2022. It was just a thing of everybody want to go to New York Fashion Week and the LAs and the Paris. It was just a thing of why not just make something for the urban community here in Atlanta? Cause that's where we at in Atlanta. So it was just one of them things why not do that? Because my peers was stressing me and wondering how they gonna get out to New York Fashion Week, and I'm just why we won't make something that's kind of for the urban community and the streetwear culture and do it right here in Atlanta. So I just started doing my research, making sure nobody had the name of Streetwear Fashion Week, and nobody had it. So I just took on the task to make it happen. Yeah, it was the idea came about like last year February. That was the idea in my head. Last year February, after I went to New York Fashion Week, actually.
Okay.
The idea came in my head. So then from there, we just talked about validation. I got validation and confirmation from close family and friends and some peers, and they just like, it sounded like a dope idea. So me and my team gathered together and was like, we got to make this happen. Let's make it happen.
So what I love about what you just said was like, you saw the need. You know, you had your friends, like you guys were kind of talking like, how are we going to get to New York Fashion Week? Like, how are we going to get our work seen and, you know, on a main stage?
Right.
And so you decided, well, I'm going to create the platform then. Like, I'm going to do it then.
Right.
And I think that speaks a lot, you know, to like a mogul mindset, like that hustler's mentality. Like, okay, if nobody's going to put me on or if nobody's going to give it to me, like, I'm going to go and do it myself.
Got to. I mean, that's how I think I started, like, in the entrepreneurship industry. Because I actually started doing online radio first. That's my beginning of, like, being a creator or entrepreneur. I started online radio. We came up with our own online radio platform called How You Need Radio, me and my uncle. And it was just a thing, it had to be done. We created our own platform and I didn't even see myself as a host or radio personality or nothing, but it was just one thing that you got to do it. It had to be done. And
what'd you guys talk about?
I think we started off talking about just like we was like a real radio station. So we talked about the celebrity gossip and then we played music, then you know, celebrity gossip, then we'll try to get into some topics, whether it's about people ask us questions about relationships or friendships or whatever. We tried to be like we was running it like a real radio station. So, and then, you know, as the world evolved to podcasting, then we kind of like,
I've been doing this.
Yeah, but I don't want to be that guy, but yeah, we just start talking about any and everything. And I just said, I brought up that to say like I've been that person that wasn't scared to create my own platforms, to whether it was radio station, whether it was throwing events, whether it was, and then I like what I do. Like, it's stressful, but I like throwing events.
Facts.
It is stressful, but I like the pressure and I like throwing events because I know what the results and the people complimenting, like how that made me feel. So,
so you've always been a culture creator then.
Yeah.
You've always been one to talk about the culture, to contribute to the culture, to make the culture in real time.
Yeah.
And so, you know, having those skill sets, right, and kind of transferring them into today's digital age, like, what have you learned along that entire journey about creating culture? Like, how do you build community? How do you create a culture? What does that look like?
I think all right, so I talked about the online radio station. We was running like a real radio station. But as the world evolved, it became about content creating. It came about YouTube, it came about podcasting and stuff. So I had to learn, like, all right, we gotta go with the time. So I had to start researching on how people do podcasting, how to really do content creating. And so I think it's really about like doing your research on certain stuff and don't be scared to change with the time. Whether it's you go from radio station to podcasting to whatever the case, whether it's
you change with the culture.
Yeah, you change with the culture. Whether it's high fashion or urban fashion, your urban fashion, don't be scared to make your pieces stick with what they want to say is high fashion. Don't be scared to do certain stuff. So I just think you gotta have that confidence in yourself to change with the culture, to do your research about what you're doing, so you know what you're doing, and just at the end of the day, don't procrastinate. Just do it. Just try it at least. Try it, make your mistakes, learn from your mistakes. Try it again. You're gonna get better and better within the time.
So something that one of my mentors says, Lashana, she actually owns this studio, but she says like try, test, and tweak, right? And so that falls really just in alignment with what you just said, like try it out, test it out, and make the changes that need to be made so that you can try it out again, test it again until you find a formula, that's successful.
Yeah, because I think what happened is, and maybe a lot of people are perfectionists, or a lot of people have like just make up excuses in their head, so they procrastinate, and you're gonna keep procrastinating, and you're gonna end up not doing it. You're gonna end up just saying like, I can't do this.
Exactly. You talk yourself out of it.
Yeah, so I think you just gotta try it, and you're gonna make your mistakes, and you're gonna learn, and next thing you know, it's gonna be close to perfect. You're gonna be close to perfect, or close to the way you've seen it in your head. So it may take some time. You gotta be patient. Entrepreneurship, it's the talk of the town.
It's
the talk of the town, but it's not for the weak. It's patience. It's trying over and over. It's all type of feelings. You go through the motions. So
next, I kind of wanted to dive more into Streetwear Fashion Week, right? And like the marketing behind it, right? So I know, you have these two brands kind of going on, but I really want to know more about like, you took something that could have been a day, it could have been one fashion show, right? But you turned it into like a whole week. You turned it into a week-long experience. So like, what does like marketing for something like that look like? What does each day entail? How do you make every day a different experience while still embodying like the message of the brand?
I feel like I'm a pretty good marketer. If I'm really interested in it. So one thing for sure, when it comes to social media and the Streetwear Fashion Week page, I try to at least post something every day, whether it's something about the streetwear culture, whether it's something we did last year, whether it's rehearsals and castings, or I try to post something every day to keep that engagement going. And then because streetwear culture is so big and it's a culture at the end of the day, streetwear alone is a culture at the end of the day. I kind of feed on that too. I kind of feed on, we're doing a Streetwear Fashion Week. So I kind of feed on that culture overall. I market that culture. I talk about that culture, whether it's on my podcast, whether it's on other people's platforms, whether it's right now I'm just out in the streets talking to people, networking. I talk about the streetwear culture.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that too, like, because I feel like a lot of times, like, we as sometimes like entrepreneurs and like, budding professionals, like sometimes we just think like, okay, I gotta get on social media in order to market. Like that's the only way. I gotta have, 1 million followers on social media in order for everybody to see my stuff. And like, that's not the case. There is offline marketing.
Yeah, because I used to do, when I was a teenager, I was doing team promoting parties, and there wasn't no social media back then. We was out in the street.
It was the street team.
Hanging flyers. And that's why I still do it now. I still make sure I print flyers because you may see people out in the streets and they not necessarily following you. So you just hand them a flyer. You give them a little engagement about the event, and hopefully they come, or whatever the case. Or whether it's billboards, whether it's posters, I'm still out in the streets with it, and I do social media, and I'm like, it can't hurt. It can't hurt to do both.
Yeah.
I think especially when it comes to throwing events or events like this, I think because social media, some people just kind of get comfortable and kind of lazy with it, and they just like, I'm gonna just post flyers, whatever the case.
With that too, right? Like, I love what you're saying, because you also have to know where to find your audience, right? You have to know your audience. You have to be able to meet your audience where they're at. If this is streetwear fashion week, why wouldn't we take it to the streets?
Right.
Why wouldn't we find those people who already be outside, right, to let them know about, you know, what you kind of have going on?
Yeah, and I make it fun too. Like, I make it a vlog. Like, I go out to the colleges and like ask them like how they come out with their outfit or where they get their sneakers from, or a question about streetwear or something. I make it fun too, being out in the streets and promoting, and it become a vlog. So I'm beating 3 things at once. I'm promoting the event. I got content to post on my YouTube and Instagram now, and I get people that want to actually come to the event now because they see our personality, and
they were part of the experience.
Yeah, and they was part of the experience.
Yes.
So, and I do giveaways. I do free tickets, giveaways, and things like that, just to make it fun. Like, everything don't have to be so serious. I try to make it fun with everything we doing.
Okay, so that's something that somebody can walk away with then, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, make it fun.
Yeah.
Make it fun. Make it an experience. I see y'all commenting. I just want to say, Instagram Live fam, I see y'all commenting, and I can't really see like that because we kind of far away, but hold on. Okay, so let's see. We got Tajel. She's saying, you know, follow DC Rock Trap, budding media moguls, Samarah Powell. I know that's right. And then we have Mercedes saying, my model classes, and so I'll print smaller comp cards and business info to hand out in the streets and engage with others. Fire. Okay, so I have a random question for you. Have you seen The Hype?
Yeah.
You've seen it?
Offset.
Yeah, Offset show?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, I think so. I like it because it talks about the streetwear culture, but also I get it. They looking for the top designers and things like that and this. But to me, streetwear is everyday. There's streetwear that's custom clothing and stuff, but where I come from, streetwear started in, to me still is everyday clothing. It's like clothes that we wearing right now still. So I don't necessarily like people see that show and they just think like that's the only streetwear.
Yeah, because
when you think of FUBU and you think of just brands that started off streetwear, FUBU, whether it was Sean John, whether it was just all the older streetwear brands, it was just comfortable everyday clothing. It wasn't people just making up
one-of-one pieces.
Yeah, it wasn't just one-of-one pieces. And no diss to them, I love one-of-one pieces, but I think one-of-one pieces is for a certain type of event that you're going to, or a certain type of style that you're looking for. It's not like everyday streetwear clothing, if that makes sense.
No, I definitely agree. It kind of feels like The Hype is kind of like that bridge between streetwear and high fashion, right? So they're saying like streetwear belongs on a high fashion stage.
Facts.
It has a place in the fashion industry. But I also kind of see what you're saying too. Like, if that's the case, then take real streetwear from the streets. It doesn't have to be on somebody's sewing machine every single time.
Yeah. And again, no diss to them, because I'm close to a lot of people that do one-on-one clothing, and it's hard work. Like sewing, being at the sewing machine, and then like that's hard work. But I'm just saying the originality of streetwear is really pretty much both, because you got people like Dapper Dan that was doing the one-on-one clothing and custom clothing. But then you got people like Pharrell that wasn't necessarily doing the one-on-one. It was just comfortable clothing that looked cool, that sent the message based on the brand, and that people just wanted to wear. So I just try to promote both. Like I don't want to try to leave nobody out, and I don't want nobody to think they higher than the other person, regardless of the situation.
No, that's real.
Yeah,
that's real. I think that when I was watching the hype, I think I actually thought about you like a lot, because I was just like, I honestly, I know like a couple like designers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I really liked the kind of trap hip hop culture kind of feel that was like brought to the show.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me of you a lot, because I'm like, dang, like this is what DC's doing. I'm like, no, he outside, like, you know, he's got the designs popping. He's you know, so I want to say like thank you, right, for being a culture creator. Thank you for having a message attached to your brand. I think that's something that you had a lot in common with some of like the designers on there, was they had like a message
right to
share. So tell me more about Trapcessful.
Trapcessful just came from really a word that I got from my uncle. He used to go out and get dressed and put on his jewelry, and him and his group of people just be like, I'm being Trapcessful today. And it just stuck in my head, and I finally used it and made it a business, which is my clothing brand business.
When did you create it?
2019. Yeah, 2019 is when I created it. It's like, I'm gonna do this, start printing my own shirts and things like that. By like 2021, maybe late 2020, that's when I started like, all right, how can I make this a real clothing brand? Like, how can I be compared or stick out like the Pharrells and the Pharrell my icon, that's what I always name him. But Pharrell's my icon, so yeah, so more importantly him, how can I stick out like the Pharrells and such? So I just started doing my research. It's like, all right, I need to find a manufacturer, I need somebody to do this and that, I need to do my business this way, I need to make my pants and stuff fit a certain way. It just, when you start doing research, you start realizing, all right, I'm doing the very bare minimum right now.
You realize how much you don't know.
Yeah, I need to take it to the max. So I say by 2021, I started realizing that. But as far as the meaning of Trapcessful, I made it a thing where it means overcoming your struggle, right? So you know the word trap. You know, people. I'm trying to kind of change the meaning from the word trap. Trap, people think it is just selling drugs and this and that. And I feel like the word trap is like, can mean anything to anybody. We all go through our struggles. Whether it's not having a father in our life, whether it's close family member on drugs, or whether it's you on drugs, whether it's just everybody been stuck in some type of trap. Everybody go through a struggle. So to me, it's about when you overcome that struggle, then that's what makes you in the process of becoming successful. So once you overcome it, then you Trapcessful, and that's how I pitch that meaning out to the people.
So if you don't mind me asking, right, and you don't have to answer, you can just say next question.
You good.
I'm just curious, like, so what to you, like, was that trap in your life? What did you have to like kind of move beyond in order to become a success?
Well, as a young kid, I didn't have my father in my life. It was just me and my mom. I had a stepdad for a while, but for the most part, it was me and my mom. You know, my dad, he got locked up He got locked up probably when I was 7, and he got locked up for 12 years. So I didn't have a father in my life. So starting at 7, that was a trap for me. I started realizing that I'm different from a lot of people. But then as you get older, you start realizing you're the same as a lot of people. A lot of people, especially in our community, don't have a father in their life. But as I got older, a trap became of I wasn't the one that wanted to go to college and do all that college school. Like I wasn't the one. I tried college for a year and I dropped out.
I feel you.
And my family didn't.
Hey, college dropout.
Kanye told us to do it.
Yeah.
Kanye told us to do it. Nah, but a good amount of people in my family didn't necessarily agree with it. Especially when I first dropped out, it was like one of them things like, all right, I decided to drop out. Like, what I'm gonna do next? Like, I didn't come out with a plan. I just knew I didn't want to be here. I just knew I didn't want to be in college. I didn't have a plan. So it was just, I would say about the first 2 years was almost like a depression type thing for me. So I definitely believe I was in a trap then. But then got a call from my uncle one day. He lived in Miami. He got a call from him like, I'm moving to Atlanta. I want to start an online radio station. Let's do it. And I just was like, just stuff started going in my head. I was like, yes. I was so excited. I was like, yes, I got something. Let's do it. So that's how we started the online radio station, How Do You Need Radio. And it's still going now. Honestly, How Do You Need Radio is still going now. I'm not hands on as much as I used to be, but I still direct, and if the personalities or the podcast members still need help, I'm still there for them. Yeah. So first it was just not having a father, and as I got older, it was one of the things like what I'm gonna do with my life after dropping out of college.
And that kind of speaks to, that innovation, right? That Moguls, that Moguls do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this path that works for everybody else does not work for me, and
Oh, and then also too, a third thing is, all right, when I dropped out, I started online, I started entrepreneur life, and then I had a kid.
Ooh. Shout out to the parents.
So I had a kid, so everything just started going in your head. You got parents on both sides just telling you like.
What age did you have?
I had my kid at 25.
Ooh, okay.
So I had my kid at 25.
Better than me.
I wasn't. I mean, we was living, but I wasn't in the best financial situation. So, everything was just going through my head. I need to pick up a job. I need to do this and that. This my one and only son. So I didn't know what to do. So I did pick up a job for a while. But when he got here, my son, it was just one of the things like, nah, it's bigger than just being a 9-to-5 worker. It gotta be bigger than this. Like,
because you're a dreamer.
Yeah, it gotta be bigger than this. And it's just one thing. I gotta leave something behind for him. Like I gotta start this now in my family to leave something behind for him. Some type of business. Even if he decides he don't want to do clothing and stuff, he still know this is here for him. He still know this business is under his dad's name and it's tossed down to him. So, yeah.
So, going through your journey, right, and it's all brought you to this person that you are today, DC Rock. Like, where did that name, first of all, where did that name even come from? So
DC is it's been my nickname since I was born because of my initials. My initials of Devontae Cordelius. That's my first and middle name. So since I was born, my mom knew like that's what I was gonna go by, DC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not from DC, people, because I know that's a lot of people names people name themselves DC because they from DC. I'm not from DC. It's just my initial.
Where you from?
I'm from here.
You're from okay.
Gwinnett County, the B is at. But yeah, and then The Rock just came about. It was just thought of. It just one of the. It just thought of. But most people just call me DC. Nobody really say the Rock part.
Oh, my bad.
But no, you can say it. You can say it. But I'm just saying, and most people call me just DC. But it don't matter. Some people just call me Rock though. Especially like new people that I I newly met. Some people just say Rock.
When you introduce yourself, what do you say?
DC.
DC. Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay, so the question that I was gonna ask you though was like, you know, you've gone through these traps, right? You're making your way to success. This person that you are today, right? What advice would you give to younger DC about just life, growth, success, elevation?
Damn, that's a good question. That's a great question. Younger DC, I would just tell them to. I think I would have told younger DC to stay in college longer. Especially because I went to an out-of-town college, and just networking purposes, even if I didn't stay longer to get my degree or whatever the case, I would have told them to stay a little longer, duck it out for a little longer. And also, would have told younger DC, like, you don't have to. I was one of them people that was like, I wanted to, because I moved around so much, I wanted to fit in. I wanted friends. I wanted to be like, I just wanted to fit in. I wanted friends, and I would have told younger DC, like, be yourself. Like that don't, when you get older, that don't matter. Be yourself. You cool being yourself. Whoever being friends with you is friends with you. Whatever female like you because you're yourself, and it is better that way. So I would have told younger DC, like, you don't have to try hard to fit in. You don't have to do what they do. You don't have to. If you don't fit in, you don't fit in. It wasn't made for you. God didn't want you to be with them. So I would have definitely told. That's one of the big gems that I would have told younger DC, because I got in some trouble trying to fit in. That's a little bit. I got in some trouble trying to fit in. I was told it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Cause now that I'm older, I don't have no friends that I went to high school with. Like, all my friends. Yeah, I don't have no friends that I'm cool with now that I went to high school. They all my friends now is from when I became an adult.
So, you giving that advice to your younger self, right? Do you almost feel as if you're talking to your son? Like, when you're giving advice to that advice to your younger self, would you be saying the same things to your child?
Yeah, I would definitely say the same thing to him. For me as a parent, I want to be real as possible with him, because I felt like my mom was that with me. I want to be real as possible with him. So, I definitely would tell him that. To be yourself, you don't have to fit in and stuff. But I still think as a parent, it's only so much that, I mean, you can feed in what you feed into your kids, but some things they gonna learn for themselves. Like, they gonna go through them experiences. They might not listen to you, and they just gonna go through it themselves, and it is what it is. But I would definitely, because that's what it's about. It's about about the parent going through the experiences so you could tell they kids what to do and what not to do. So yeah, I definitely feel like I'm talking to my son when I say that. And he looked like a younger me anyway, so it definitely.
It's like you're literally talking to your younger self.
Yeah.
So to dive a little bit deeper into like parenthood, right, and entrepreneurship, what is that journey kind of like? So for example, when you said that when he was born, right, you were like, oh no, there's more. There has to be more to what I'm doing right now, right? I definitely relate. When I found out that I was pregnant with my son, I was like, oh no. Like I've always had like that entrepreneurial spirit kind of in me, that creator, but I was like, oh no, like it can't be more of this. Yeah. I can't bring him into like this, right? So being a parent and experiencing entrepreneurship, he's how old now? 7, you said?
He's 8. He just turned 8.
He's 8. So what has that journey been like? This is now like 8 years since you made the decision of like, oh, we can't do this no more.
So it's one of them things like, of course you want to give your kid the world. So of course it's one of the things like, yeah, you want to be financially there and be rich and stuff because you want to give him the world. You want to give him basically everything that you can, everything that he wants. You want to give it to him. But I came to the realization, regardless, he gonna love me. As long as I'm there. Regardless, he gonna love me because regardless, I love my mom, regardless of like what we went through. So I just think it's one of the things like, as long as you're there for your kid, try not to overthink you being an entrepreneur and things like that. And let your kid go through this journey with you. Bring him to some stuff that you can bring him to, and then so he can see for himself what you're doing and what you're trying to do. Especially as they get older within time, bring them on this journey with you. I think it gives them a story to tell. I think it gives you a story to tell, and then it's just a story overall, and them learning about entrepreneurship and them.
It plants a seed.
Yeah, it plants a seed regardless. So they know for themselves, like, all right, daddy trying or mommy trying. Like they trying, they doing something. It looks important. They probably don't know exactly what you're doing, but it looks like something important. My daddy is on YouTube.
So you said a couple of minutes ago that you take him sometimes to watch your pod, right? What pod you got? What? Tell us more about it.
So recently I started Fashion Me Late podcast. I decided to do a podcast about streetwear, urban fashion. Fashion Me Late podcast. We about 5 episodes in. I got 4 of the co-hosts. Yes, me, Remy, B, Bratz, Nick. They all is within the urban fashion in some type of way. And we just talk about everything that's going on in the urban fashion community. And we also talk about topics like, what was your first streetwear brand? Or would you date a person that came dressed?
Okay.
So we make it fun too. So, and I think I did my research on like how many urban fashion podcasts it really is, and based on my research, I think it's needed in the community and the way that we're doing it. So, yeah. Y'all tune in. Fashion Me Late podcast is on YouTube. It's on TikTok, Instagram. We got a Reddit. I'm still trying to figure out Reddit, but we got one.
Okay.
But yeah, we just gonna continue doing it. And podcasting is something I love doing though. I love podcasting.
Something that I learned too about podcasting, especially as it's continuing to be like innovated on, you know what I'm saying? Like podcasting is a very new form of media. You know, we've had radio forever, we've had TV forever, newspaper forever. Podcasting is like a baby in the game.
Yeah.
So the sooner that you can kind of get in and innovate within the space, you know, just that much stronger your platform will be. But something that I learned about podcasting, though, was like you can use podcasting as a tool to continue to market what you're already doing.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, you have Trap Cessful, you have your clothing brand, you have Streetwear Fashion Week, and now you have the Fashionably Late Pod, right? And you now can use that to continue the conversations that you're already having, continue the conversations about, you know, Streetwear Fashion Week, about Trap Cessful. When it comes to the team, right, and I won't make this super long, we're going to end soon, but the team, the amount of energy, the amount of effort that goes into creating even one event, and you have a week long, like, so what does your team look like right now? Like, what does collaboration look like to you? Like,
so I'm gonna start off with the venue that we're doing most of the events at. Shout out to Meta Multimedia. They a black owned company, and I went there looking for a venue to do overall, but once I talked to them about my vision and stuff, they was like, yo, we was looking to bring something like that here. Why don't we just collaborate and just do this partnership together? So shout out to Meta Multimedia. So they basically a part of the team now. And then, you know, I got my team. Shout out to Remy. He's like my right hand. Whatever I need help with, he's right there with me. And then I got my model coaches. My model coaches, Crystal and Ashley. They the ones that's taking care of the models. They the ones choosing the models. They the ones doing the castings and rehearsals. And they the ones making sure the models are ready to put on a great show. Me, I'm pretty much taking care of overall the event and also keeping communication with the designers. Because as a designer, I understand like designers' concerns on what they need and stuff like that. So pretty much I'm communicating with the designers. And then I have my media team, of course, videographers and photographers and stuff, getting the behind the scenes of rehearsals and castings, but also getting ready to gear up for the show, making sure they get the right angles from the runway and get behind the scenes and the makeup being done and just, you know, little stuff. All that stuff counts. So
does it feel scary to kind of like pass the torch sometimes? Like you're taking your hands off of like some of like the biggest parts of what you have going on? Yeah.
And I'm still trying to learn to do that. Because I'm still trying to learn to do that because I know I got a team. But I just, for me, it's just easier. I ain't gonna say it's easier, but I just think it and I just go do it. So it do be hard for me to sit back and just wonder if that person gonna do it or not. Cause you really just handing it off to them. Like if I need something done and I tell them to go do it, I either gotta be questioning them all the times or I gotta wonder if they did it or not. So I'm still working on it. Because I'm used to kind of doing events almost by myself. But now that I'm doing a full week, I knew like, all right,
I gotta get somebody something. That wasn't gonna happen. Get somebody something.
That wasn't gonna happen. So I'm still working on it, and it's hard. It's hard because you know you go through your personal stuff, and sometimes you need a break from it, but you need a break from your business. But when you got stuff like this going on, you can't take too long of a break. Like I tried to take a break, and my team was like, "No, we got stuff to do."
What you doing, man?
We got stuff to do. So, And I'm gonna try to look for even a bigger team after this fashion week, because I was doing this every year, but people been telling me like, nah, we gotta do this like every quarter. We gotta do this like all the. We gotta do this.
I mean, but like the fashion weeks, they'll have like
the fashion weeks.
Yeah, exactly. They'll do it for the different seasons.
Doing it every quarter and taking it on tour. That's my next plans too.
Okay.
But for me, just to drop a gem, for me, I'm not necessarily wanting to do the main fashion cities. Like I might do them, but that's not on my mind. My thing is, we say New York, LA, Paris, stuff like that, but my thing is so much more out there. There's so many more states. There's more cities.
Yeah.
Like what we think. Like they don't care about fashion. They think like I think it's bigger. I think it's bigger than just them cities. So I just want to hit cities and states that people not necessarily talking about too.
And I love that too. Again, it goes back to that mogul mindset. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how can I innovate? I'm not gonna say F New York Fashion Week, right? That's not what I'm saying. But also, like, what about everybody else?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and do it this way because everybody's trying to do it that way.
Yeah. And
I'm gonna make waves in spaces that people have forgotten about.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, that's fire.
Yeah.
I love that.
I
love that.
Yeah.
So look, since the Instagram Live fam is just jumping, make sure that you guys go and follow DC. Obviously he's spitting gems right now. He has so much to say, so much to share, especially right now, right here in Atlanta, in Georgia. But obviously, you know, it's going to be taken nationwide.
Right, yeah. Got to. I think I love Atlanta, but I think at this point it's definitely bigger than just being comfortable and stationed in Atlanta. So, yeah, going on tour. You coming on tour? You coming on tour with us?
Look, we going on tour, okay? I'm trying to go on tour.
We're going on tour.
Okay, cool. So, look, we're going to start wrapping up. Let everybody know, like, where we can find you. I know we kind of dropped it throughout the episode, but...
Yeah, my personal Instagram is DC Rock Trap. And, yeah, y'all can follow me on Instagram. I just created, like, a new personal TikTok. I only had, like, business TikToks, but I created, like, a personal one now. DC Rock Trap is pretty much all my personal all platforms. As far as the Fashion Week, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everything is SW Fashion Week, which stands for Streetwear Fashion Week. But everything is pretty much SW Fashion Week. You can DM on the platform, or if you want to email, you can email swfw23@gmail.com, swfw23@gmail.com. As you can see, we got a lot of events, so yeah, we still taking spots, and I want to try to support and help small businesses. So yeah, just hit me up.
Well, thank you guys again so much for tuning in to Mogul Talk with Mara, where we dive into the brains and stories of moguls in order to craft our own journey to success. I'm really grateful that you came on today's show.
I'm grateful.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Of course. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.